So this is going to be a showcase of one of two of the Albus builds that I run. This is the Darkness Hunter build. It's specifically built around this stage here, 46 Violent. Alright, so let's return. Send the police away. Albus's goal here is to farm Hellfire and look for any other targets he can farm before we dip out. So, first place we're going to check is over here.
저에게 바람의 가호가 함께합니다. 발도 준비 완료. 목표로 이동하겠습니다. 적을 발견하였습니다.
Looks like Hellfire's not over here, so we'll clear a couple enemies and then... Oh no, there's Hellfire. Okay, so Hellfire's here. 0 block chance, we got enough damage. Just instantly kill him. Now this build, it is for quick farming, so it does not gain a lot of the cursed sword stacks, so these enemies with a higher block you're not going to be able to take on right away. So you can go for softer targets to get some stacks up, but we're just going to look for bosses. So we're going to just teleport over this guy. Start moving towards the skull team.
다음은 누구입니까? 모두 상대해 드리겠습니다. 바람과 함께 사라지세요. 다신 뵙지 않기를. 다음은 누구입니까? 모두 상대해 드리겠습니다.
Each one of those guys. Keep moving. We're already at 2 overloads, so we do have to be mindful of that. We only have so much overload because I am playing on Mind Body Unity, but
다신 뵙지 않기. 다음은 누구입니까? 모두 상대해 드리겠습니다. 다신 뵙지 않기.
I might have to pass a turn. So, yeah, 40 action time.
제가
So we're
가겠습니다.
gonna go here real quick. We're gonna go ahead and start the retreat, as I usually do. Okay, so we know something's over here.
목표로 이동하겠습니다.
Let's see what's right there. Yeah, there's Slasher. I do need my SP skill if I want to kill Slashers, so... move past him. There's Piercer, he also requires SP, so we're not going to go after him. I do want to kill Skull Eater,
준비 완료.
so let's go up
지체할 시간이
him.
없습니다.
And he just requires a 2-tap because of the
이번
Skull
승리는
Seal.
제가 가져가겠습니다.
Strangely though, it doesn't proc Bloodbath when you kill him with double tap. I don't understand why, but it just doesn't. I'm just gonna go
목표로
hide up
이동하겠습니다.
here again. Should be far enough away that they can't reach me before I get another turn. Or they start moving towards foe if I'm not within view. I think that's kind of what they do, but yeah, 'cause it doesn't look like any of them are around now.
알겠습니다.
Yeah, I don't see anyone, so we're
제가
gonna just move
가겠습니다.
up.
적 무리를
You can
확인했습니다.
cover. That's gonna be the end of the stage though, so we're not gonna get to the other dude. Oh well, so alright, we did get a Hellfire Bangle, which is good. Did not get the sniper rifle. But yeah, by using Darkness Hunter in these kind of stages, Albus is completely safe and just able to just run around going after pretty much anything he wants to go after. Which is why I like using this build. Masteries for this are pretty jank though. In order to fit Darkness Hunter in, you do have to drop a bunch of stuff. But I did manage to make this work, so I'll showcase this. This is a late game farming build. So this isn't the best build if you're just getting to 46, but if you're higher level and you just want to farm and try to get a good Alligator Blade SS from Skull Slasher, then this is a good setup to do it. So how this build works, we do make sure we take Bloodbath, Darkness Hunter, Holy Demonic Sword, so that way we get at least some stacking from killing enemies, and then Shadow Blade, so that way we get some block reduction when we are getting those Cursed Sword stacks. We also get, I believe, yeah, at the start of our turn, we get one as long as we're at full vigor, which actually doesn't happen often, especially with the overload. You'll actually drain a bunch of your vigor at the start of your turn, so that helps until you start killing things, basically. It'll give you a couple stacks at the start of the stage. Also, one strike, one head, just so we can get cooldowns quicker, because we want to be able to teleport, we want to be able to use turning over a new leaf, because we got a lot of ground to cover. And then a lot of the other stuff is just focused on getting our move distance up, so we will make sure we take Bounding Stride, we slot in Sakuchi, that's an extra 2 movement distance. For gear, we get an extra 2 distance on the Timus sneakers. We get a ton of crit from this, and I do feel that crit is necessary to make sure that we're consistent. There are boots that have farther move distance, but no sneakers that have that much crit chance. We take the Gold Fang because we do struggle to build stacks early. This allows us to at least block shred. Hellfire has a little bit of block, I think somewhere around like 10 to 12%. So you'd actually have to kill a few enemies to even get enough, so I just run the Gold Fang. That makes up for it. And then Sanson's Jacket gives you move distance, extra vigor, vigor recovery. The vigor recovery from Sanson's Jacket here gives you that 10 vigor recovery, so that way when you lose the 10 stacks you can regain your vigor and have full stacks for the end of your turn if you're using the normal build. So I do like doing that. You get 5 from Avalon, 4 from the Sanson Jacket, and then 1 just for being a human as a base. So that gives you the perfect 10 that you want if you want to be able to gain 2 stacks just for having your turns. So, or if you kill an enemy, then you're just at full, but at least in the early part you can get 2 stacks on each turn just by walking your blue distance past your turn, and yeah, pretty useful. Alternatively, if you're looking just for raw damage, Hansen's gives you crit damage, but Albus has pretty high crit damage to begin with, so I don't feel that's entirely necessary. But yeah, this is a farming build. For my actual in-game build, switched over to it. So yeah, we do run the Hansons for the extra crit damage. We do stick with the sneakers with the move distance and high crit chance, because we just want to make sure we're critting. We got 88 crit chance plus an additional 24 slashing. Ignore the fire attack crit damage, that's just on there because I'm running a ring just to get even higher base hit, crit, and crit damage. I do prefer this ring just because it's really high base crit damage. It has 30 crit damage to begin with on its own, and then you can roll in up to an additional 30, so that's maxes out at 60 crit damage just from the ring. And then for weapon, I like the crit slash chance, the assassins. Hit chance is also pretty decent. Crit damage, if you're really hurting for damage, you can definitely go for the crit damage. But I prefer just to get his attack power higher, so that's why I run stuff like White Tiger Mark when I actually do my in-game setup. And the mastery setup for this one is different board. And this is how the build that I currently run for in-game. It's a little different than some other people's builds, I think, but I do make sure to run impulse fields just in case I do get tagged by some stuff. Luckily, the amount of responsive attacks at the later part of the game kind of chills out a bit. It's not as bad as like the Skull Eater team where you get fired on by like 8 attacks, so impulse fields will not save you in that instance. But for like 54, this generally works. I do take Wind Wall if damage taken from ranged attacks. It does lower the damage a little bit. It also does give us a little more crit damage, I believe, because yeah, we're running. Let's see, or maybe it doesn't give us crit damage. I can't remember. I have it on here just because like I have an extra defense slot and I need something to put into it. I have to slot a Keyboard Warrior to get enough points to slot in the attack slots, so we end up with some excess defense slots. Ideally, we would want to drop like Strategic Retreat so we don't have as much defense slots, but then we don't have the points here to slot in all the attack masteries that we have to run. We do have to run Catharsis, one shot, one kill, Blood Absorbing Sword. Yeah, pretty much all these are mandatory. Yeah, Bloodbath you definitely want because you want to be able to regain the 2 action points and be able to move. But yeah, you end up with an extra support slot. I do slap in Sage. There's a couple options you could change here. But Sage is good just for raw stats. It does give you some extra hit chance for all the common masteries you're running. 1% crit chance for your SP type, which that's where the Wind Wall comes in, so it's just an extra 1% crit chance. There's not a lot of choices here. We could run Haze for melee damage, but I'm more threatened by long range attacks than I am melee attacks with this build. Windless Land increases your block versus ranged type attacks, which is okay, but you're not really sporting a high block rate anyways. We don't have enough points to slot in Holy Sword. This would technically be better, but or no, we already have Holy Sword. My mistake. Yeah, there just isn't a lot of good choices here. Magic Sword Veil would be okay if you actually would slot in, well, if we had enemies that attacked with ESP, and if we could actually, you know, slot in more wind stuff, but you really can't. The Magic Knight stuff just takes up a lot of slots, but with one strike, one head, Bloodbath, and then the usual Magic Knight masteries, you don't have a lot of room to really change much. Sage is technically optional, muscle training's technically optional, but it is a good idea to have it because you need that attack power if you want to consistently kill some of the later enemies. And I'll show that off here with 54. Okay, so when you're normally running the stage, I'd say run the left side. Right side is if you want to just speed run gyro, which I showed in a previous video. I'll go ahead and kick Kylie and Giselle out real quick. We're just gonna run Albus. Not gonna do the whole stage, obviously, but just kind of showcase what we can do here.
목표 발견.
Alright, just gonna get it into a good starting position. So these enemies, they'll say they have 0 block, but if you approach and aggro them, they'll instantly get their stats up, so you can only do like ranged attacks if you want to take advantage of that 0 block, which is kind of annoying.
알겠습니다.
From here, and we'll pass again, because we want to have a blue turn. Alright. One stack per sword.
저에게 바람의 가호가 함께합니다. 발도 준비 완료. 지체할 시간이 없습니다. 적입니다. 다들 준비하세요. 세력이 발각됐습니다. 경계하세요. 트러블슈터입니다. 다들 움직이지 마세요.
So we got choices on who to go after. We want to clear some of the softer targets that have low block rate first. So we want to build up our stacks. Yeah, we're gonna need 15 stacks before we can take this guy, and we're gonna need 77 stacks for that dude. So that's gonna be an issue. See, that guy has only 9. Get this guy here.
다신 되지 않기.
Okay, there.
바람과 함께 사라지세요.
This guy's got 0 block, and because we're running the muscle training and the White Tiger's mark, we have just enough attack power that we are able to actually just outright kill this guy, so we don't have to do the double tap. I've seen people fight the Dust Slaughterers where they have to do the 2-shot with the Tornado Slash to actually kill them, but this setup actually gives me just enough crit damage and just enough attack early on that I can just kill them in one hit. Some of them might have more HP, like yeah, this guy's got 3,578, but we would do 3,500. Or sorry, 3,058. So we actually overkill him by 1 HP still. And I think that's one of the higher HP ends. Oh, this one's got 95. So this one I would not kill yet, and I'd only do 2,949. But after I kill a couple more, I should actually do enough, because our damage will scale with each enemy we take out.
다신 되지 않기를.
He's at 6 block, 3 block, 0 block, 3, 6. Technically, this guy's the next best one to take out.
바람과 함께 사라지세요.
Up here, I want to get one of these two. He's at 1. So they're both at 1% block chance. It's a gamble, but you know, yeah. See, now we have enough damage because we've gained more attack power from getting some more Curse of Sword stacks. We're going to take this further one out.
다음은 누구입니까?
All right, now these guys should all have 0 block chance.
바람과 함께 사라지세요.
2 overload. Pop up,
준비 완료.
turning over a new leaf. We're going to teleport up the ladder here because we've got 3 targets to kill, and this will actually refresh turning over a new leaf and windwalk. So no way to end the turn back on the ladder though, so we'll just go ahead and pop him.
뵙지 않기를.
Yeah, we can just one hit mark. I'm just gonna tornado slash this as a precaution.
강하게! 이번 승리는
He can
제가
be weird
가져가겠습니다.
sometimes.
역대! 바람과 함께 사라지세요.
Alright, and then we can just teleport down. Start working our way out of this area. So this entire section is now cleared. We're at 3 overdrive, so we don't have much more we can do. Yeah, I'm gonna go for a double tap on this guy.
역대! 발도 준비
Just
완료.
so we can have that full movement range. So the clowns are at much higher block, so with overload I do just try to take out the dusk enemies with Albus here. We could go and take out these
제가
snipers.
가겠습니다.
Go ahead and start to retreat. If you ever have an enemy that's next to the ladder, it's good to kill anyone that's not, so that way you can
역대! 다음은 누구입니까?
basically walk right back to
모두
the
상대해
ladder.
드리겠습니다. 다신 뵙지 않기를.
Yeah, see, we're at 4 overload now. Walk. Black clowns, yeah, we have enough damage to actually kill the black clowns, and their block is reduced to 0. So pop this one dude, and I
바람과 함께
think,
사라지세요.
yep, that's exhausted. So we're gonna die now. But we'll see how many enemies we took out. You do have to spread out when you play Mind Body Unity. You do have to spread out your team killing or chain killing between multiple characters. So each character has to basically take out a sector and then chill out for a bit. Albus did take out that entire section right there, as well as that sniper tower. So that would be good use from him. A second character could clear up the rest of this and this tower. And then after that, basically, Albus could chill out for a bit, get his overdrive down. But yeah, 14 enemies, that's pretty much the limit you're able to take out with Mind Body Unity before you have to start cooling down. But if you have several DPS that are all taking out about 14 enemies, then they're effectively all serving their purpose. I think the number for stage 54 is you only have to kill... what's it? Like 6 like each party member has to kill like 6 enemies, which isn't too hard. So if you got one character taking 14, even if they get exhausted, they've basically done 2 party members' work plus a little more. So just take that as a win right there. So that's my serial case for Magic Knight Albus. I do like him. He does get hurt pretty hard by the Mind Body Unity, especially if you go for the Bloodbath, because you gain 2 action points back, so that overloads you really quick. But it's still pretty good. As long as you just use them in the right spots to clear out some packs of enemies while other party members take out other ones, then it's still a really good build.